always my children in Canada ask me, how did I get here to Canada and what I was doing at home and who's our family. Then I said, we're gonna make a tape and I'm gonna tell you exactly everything what happened to me and all our relations. I was born 8 December in village named Zalesie. It was close to Zaleszczyki, which was bigger town in Poland. So I went to school, but we had only grade 7 in my village. So I had to go to Chernobyl to higher grades. And I went to School of Commerce because everybody say after the war there's going to be lots of businesses, different businesses, and going to be lots of work. So I just left after vacation 1939 and I was going back to school, which is over 140 kilometers from my home. So my mother prepared everything for me, all kinds of food, cookies and everything else, and packed for me. And because I'm leaving, it was, I remember exactly, it was 27th of August 1939, and it was Sunday. I left the home, I went to school, and in September 1st, war broke out. And they took all the students, including me, to the army, but it wasn't exactly army because we never served in the army. So we were like home defense. They used us in different places, like to observe the raid of airplanes and stuff like that. And I was like that 17 days in the army. And 17th of September, the Russians came to Poland, and they squeezed us between, like Germans were from one side and Russians from other side. So all the Polish army was squeezing, and we couldn't fight those two big nations. And we fought for about 2 days against the Russians front, and then we have no chance, other chances only to run through the Romanian border to Romania. When I went to Romania, I find out myself no money, no jobs, not even clothes because we're getting older, you know, like in October and November. So I found my uncle in Italy, in Romania, who also ran away from Poland, and he was major of Polish police. So then I stuck with his uncle, but he didn't have no money neither. But then we went to see the Red Cross, and the Red Cross said to me, "What are you doing here?" I explained it to them, and they said, "You are not a soldier. You should come back to school." And they sent me to school, like it was Timișu de Jos, our camp, and Youth Brașov. Brașov was the school in Nebraska. Nebraska was a big city. So I went to school since like December, January, February, March, April, until May 6th. And was about 600 Polish students in that school with me. So after, in May, we decided that France gonna continue war, like France and Germany, France and Great Britain, they're gonna continue war, so we should go there and try to get to the army. And so we did. We ran away from that school to Constanza port, Armenian port. And we had a little bit money because the Red Cross give to us for food. So we paid the man who was checking the tickets, because it was a big ship, and we know that ship going to Turkey. So we pay him money, so let us in on the ship. So he did, but he says, don't stay on the normal floor, but you have to go under the normal floor of the ship. So we did, and it took 3 days journey before we get to Turkey. In Turkish Istanbul, we came in and we unloaded that ship, and in Turkey was already Polish ambassador and everything. So we went to see the Polish embassy and tell them what we did and what we're going to do now. And he said to us, he says, it's going to be Polish ship, Warsaw, and but you can only get to that ship by small boats, because the ship cannot come right to the port, because some kind of war law, that country who is in the war cannot go to other countries' ports. So we did. We went with the small boats to that big Warsaw ship, and they loaded us up, and we went to France. Remember, like today, we landed in Marseille in 1940, May 6th. And before we unload and everything, the train was taking us to Boulogne, where was Polish, supposed to be Polish organized army. So as soon as we left the Marseille, the big German aeroplane raid starts, and they bomb our train, and we had 12 few killed, and I survived. I wasn't wounded or anything. Then war starts in France, and they told us they don't have enough clothes and army equipment, so better if we go to Syria, where Polish army is gonna organize in Syria. And they took us on a French boat, and we went to Syria, to Beirut. From Beirut, they took us to Homs. It was Camp Homs. Was already a few thousand Polish soldiers there. Commandant was General Kopanksy. So, as soon as I came there, and they give me clothes and a rifle and everything, and I was full soldier, you know. But after government Vichy in France, they put press on the French general who was commander in Syria. So that commander said to us, we have to give back all army equipment, because this is the order of French government from France. Then our general came to us and told us about it, and we say, no, we won't give you arms back. And we went to a magazine, we took all the ammunition and everything, and we marched on out from the Ons, out on the on the road to Palestine. We were marching 3 days and 3 nights without food and water and everything, only what we took with us, you know. Then we reached the Palestine border, and in Palestine there was English army. So we came there, then English come and they put us to one camp. For 6 weeks we were there, and they said to give the French rifles and clothes, and they give us English clothes and English equipment, you know. So we were there training long time, and after they used us, because it was main offensive by the Germans and Italian forces, they came close to Cairo, and they sent us to Marsa Martyr as the second line, you know. So we went there and we were taken in and prepared for fighting. But meantime, English made the main offensive, and they chased the Germans out. And then they used us as in Alexandria, in port of Alexandria, and we were there as look over the big port and ammunition dumps and everything else, you know. For well, then came the order that we have to go to fight on Creta, you know. And we were already prepared. The boat was there and everything in Haifa, so we should go to Creta to help over there. But later on the order changed, and we went to, instead to Creta, we sent us to Tobruk. And with whole our brigade, about 8,000 people, was put on the boats, and with the big escort and everything, they sent us to Tobruk. Before we get to Tobruk, we had about 3 times attacked by the German aeroplane, and they sunk our boat was sunk because they put torpedo through right on the center, and not even people all the crew on Warsaw had no chance to get out. They went to bottom of the sea. Then they unload us in Tobruk, where we stay for 10 months. And we were going on patrols and everything because we were short of ammunition. So every evening we go and catch one German and ask him where is the ammunition depot. And he tells us, because we beat him, so we have to tell the truth. He tells us this is where it is, and at night time we organize patrols. And one time they did it like, it was 40 of us, and it was 20 shoot attacked, and another 20 come and grab the ammunition and take it to our side. Because in Tobruk we were about 300 meters our line from German line. But the Germans, they were in pillbox, we call it, made from cement line, made by Mussolini. And we were dig in, but it was very hard because it was sand. And England sent us lots of different sacks. And we put the sand in the sack and made it, trenches from that for ourselves. Then I went one on patrol, and I was wounded in my left arm, right here. And was bleeding so badly, and when we retreated, then I went to the doctor because we had hospital too, underground in Tobruk. I was a few days in the hospital, then we come back again to the line. Altogether I was about 10 times on patrols. And one time we were big, we make big patrol, and we catch over 40 Germans and 2 high commanders with them, and lots of ammunition, rifles and machine guns, German machine guns. And we were happy because we had enough to defend ourselves in case Germans start to attack us. Then English forces broke again the line, and they come to Tobruk, and we were free. So we start to fight together with the English, and we fight on the whole front right up to Tripoli. We ended in Tripoli. Then from Tripoli they took us back and gave us rest for well. And then Russians let the Polish prisoners go, and they came to Iraq. So they took us because we were already on the front. We know the English army equipment, everything. So they sent us to school for 2 months. I was in school, like we call Szkoła Podoficerska. That means that after that school I could get lance corporal, corporal, sergeant, and so on. So those people came from Russia, and they took all the young men and give them army clothes, and rifles and everything, and we were trained them, as soldiers. And then they make from my brigade, which was 1st Carpathian Brigade, they made 3rd Division, Carpathian Division. From 8,000 people who were in brigade, they made 28,000 in division. It was a very big division because we had our own artillery, our own machine guns, our own carriers, like tanks, and even few platoons of the heavy tanks. But we had everything: heavy artillery, light artillery. And then they took us to Italy. So we landed in Taranto. And after just few small fights, we came right up to Foggia. From Foggia on, it was a real fighting, but it was winter time, and we stopped advancing, and we built the line on Castel di Sangro, on the river Sangro. It again was German on one side of the river, and we were on the other side of the river. And the town, Castel di Sangro, was completely bombed by heavy artillery. There was no even one house left. So again, my commander said to go on patrol, and we were supposed to leave on sunset and go for all night by the shore of this river and observe what Germans doing on the other side. But from our side was bush, a little bit bush, and from German side also. And we went to that bush, and it was dark already, and German crossed the river, and big patrol was going, and it was 7 of us, and it was 40 something, 43 or 4, I don't remember exactly, Germans, with the captain, commander, and on my patrol, I was commander, I was corporal then. So we were lucky because we find a little, like when we went in the bush, we find like a small road, but it was lower than the regular land, and Germans was putting mines on that road because they know that Polish soldiers walking on that road, so they came there, they want to put the mines on. And we spotted Germans right away, and we went around. We didn't know how many then, because we saw only few putting those mines up. And I went with 3 guys around, and the rest was, I told them to stay there and have a machine gun ready in case they have to shoot, And 3 of us, we went around from the back, and I gave the order to shoot, So my 4 guys who were in that road, they start shooting, and we start shooting from the back. And German didn't know how many us in there because it was dark, and they left their hands up, and they threw everything. But the meantime was 3 Germans killed and 7 wounded. And 1 of our soldiers were wounded too. But anyway, we took them all to prisoner, and it was just the time when General Sikorsky was coming. And General Sikorsky came and gave us, for everybody, all 7 of us, a cross, krzyż waleczny. It's a very high Polish cross, you know. That's only another highest is Virtuti Militari, but waleczny is the same, like with very high medal. So after that we started preparing for Monte Cassino, and I was like, they give me 18 people, a section, my section, and I was corporal, and they give me assistant corporal too, but he was a little bit deaf. He's not supposed to be in the first line, but he said, I want to be, and that's it, you know. So we went on the Monte Cassino. In the first attack, we lost so many people, and we got the order to retreat, pull back, because we had too many killed and we couldn't do nothing. So we retreat and enforce again. It took 6 days. When the commanders, they give us more men, what we lost, they get free, they give more men, and we went again. And May 18, we captured. We captured a monastery and a mountain we call 553, the highest mountains in Monte Cassino. And our 2nd division, Polish division, number 5, Piąta Division, they were attacking on the Monte Carlo, the Monte Carlo and the Piedimonte. And they also couldn't capture it in the first days. They have to pull back. And then when we captured our destination, and my commander captain came to me and he says, Gorski, you have to take more our soldiers and go to help First Division, Piąta Division. So I went, but I was so tired, and my people were so tired, you know. And I went there with 7 soldiers, you know, and 2 machine guns and 1 mortar. And we fought there for about a whole day, you know, because Germans was attacking, and we fought there. And again, I lost 2 people from my group. Then we come back to Campobasso. They pulled us back after the English army went straight on Rome, and they pulled us back. And they give us 10 days rest, and after that they took us again to Ortona, on the close to Mediterranean Sea shore. So we went there, and again we started to fight. It was really fight against us, because they know they didn't want to go to prison because they said the Polish catch Germans and they kill them. So it was on close to Porto Civitanova and the river Kenti. And I remember the corn was about that high, and in close to evening, my commander came and he said, "Gorski, you have to go, you have to take your section and go across the river, because," he says, "right here, river is not deep, it's only about that deep. So you can cross." And it was May, nice and warm. He said, "You can cross that river, and on another side, you lay down and make, prepare yourself, so about 2 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna attack the Germans, and you're gonna be there. You can start to shooting there, right from your position." I said, "Okay." So we went. I took 5 my men, and I told them to go straight. And when they reached the shore, they have to lay down, because on the shore was lots of high grass, you know, and little bushes of all kind of bushes, you know, like on the every river on the shore grows. So one man went, and then another man, then another man, and I was the last. I come the last one, and as soon as I reached the shore, I lay down, and because I was scared, I don't know where I am and how many Germans around me, maybe right on the front of some Germans, and I lay down. I was for a few minutes, and I see somebody walking and just taking that bushes on the side and try to walk through. So I get up, because he was very close to me. I get up and I hit him in the shoulder. I said, "Lay down, what are you doing here?" And he looked, then I looked at him, and it was German. And he was taller than me and had rifles on his shoulder. But I had a Tommy gun right here on my chest. But in a few minutes, I couldn't move my hand. I was so scared that I freeze. And he freeze also. He couldn't move neither. But finally, we stood there, look at each other for a few minutes. And then I grabbed the Tommy gun, and he left the hands up. So I took his rifle, and I said to him, "Lay down here," you know. So he lay down, but after I found out, he was so scared that he made in his pants, and he was smelling until morning. I couldn't stay beside him, you know, because I was laid beside him. And in the morning we sent him back to, you know, and we went, because our company started to go ahead, and then we went ahead with our company. And again, it was close to Predappio, and it's the mountains. We were there on mountains, and they call klasztor, that means monastery, in Italian monastery, and was big fence with stone built all around that monastery and big building. But inside they had stock of hay and straw and everything. So again, my commander, we were close to that monastery, my commander said, Gorski, you take few soldiers of yours and go slow to that stone fence and take a look how many Germans there. Maybe you can find out something, you know. And he gave me one guy with the radio, so I can talk to my commander by radio, you know, what's going on. And we came right to that fence, and we didn't see nothing, nobody moving there. So I said to the boys, I said, look, I'm going over this fence and see what's going on there. But you stay here. And they said, okay. But when I was going, and Jan Kravchuk, he had the radio on his back, and he said, oh, I go with you, because in case something there, we can send you to the commander. So I jumped first over that fence, and right on the front of Germans, which was dug up under that stock of hay, and just machine gun was, I just saw the machine gun sticking out. And I had no chance. I just took the hand grenade and threw the hand grenade to them. And in the meantime, Kravchuk, he was right on the fence. He didn't jump off yet, and they shot him right on the fence, you know. But then I jumped to another side, to another stock of hay, and one German from the building shot me, and I got shot here from the left, and bullet come out there. And I lost my, I didn't know what I'm doing anymore, and I laid there. And then my rest of mine people, they retreated, and they told my commander that I am killed. I am and Kravchuk, we both killed by Germans. But when my friends retreat, the Germans come out from the monastery, and they looked me over, and they took me inside, because they saw I'm wounded, you know, but Kravchuk was dead already, so they didn't bother him. But they took me inside, and they put me in the basement, and was so many Germans there in that basement, was only straw there and blanket, and I lay down there on that straw, and they took all my clothes off, everything, even underwear. And the doctor came, German doctor, and they put me on table because it was bleeding very much, and he just put some kind of piece of rag or something, you know, in some kind of medicine, and he just plug it up, the hole here and hole in there, to stop bleeding. But it didn't do nothing else. Oh, and he gave me some kind of needles, you know. He didn't say what kind, because I didn't understand German anyway. And I was laying there in that basement for most all night, and next day our troops start to advancing, and they find me there. But a friend of mine, even from my company, came to the basement. He says, "Any Polish here?" I said, "Yeah, I am here." And he just went up to report that I'm killed, that I'm wounded there. And he was killed. So my company didn't know anything what happened to me. Then Polish troops went advanced, and second line was going New Zealand. And they came there, and they started to talk to me, and they took me to New Zealand hospital. So I was 11 days in New Zealand hospital. But after I get better, I come back from hospital, and they said, "Okay, we send you back to your unit." But we had the Polish depot, which was behind the front line, and everybody who was wounded or something goes to that depot, and that depot send you back to your unit because you didn't know where your unit is. So they sent me back to my unit. And when I came to my unit, and my commander said, "Look at me," and he said, "Hey, from that world, people coming back too?" I said, "Yeah." He says, look guy, you killed, look at here." And I look at in the book, and they give me, they promote me to sergeant, and after that, and they give me another medal, after that. So I said, "That's okay, you give me more money," because sergeant was getting more money than corporal. And they said, "Oh, no, you're not getting money now because you're still alive. And we don't have any money to pay you more. But we give you because you were dead." So anyway, I come back to my unit, and we still went to fighting, and close to, before Bologna, in place Grono, I was wounded again. Wounded very seriously. I had 23 pieces in my body because a big bomb was exploded close to me. And they took me back to hospital, and I lost my hearing. I didn't hear anything. And they take me back to hospital, and I was in hospital for a while. Then I come back, and they send me to special camp where I was they doing all kind of therapy to me. And then I was okay again. I come back to my unit, and my uncle come to me, and he says, "You should go back to school and go to artillery or somewhere else, because if you're still going to be in infantry, then we go on the Russian front and you're going to be killed for sure." Because they want to send me a special school so they can promote me to be lieutenant. So I said, okay. So I made, I wrote to police force. I want to go to police force. And I wrote today, and after 3 days, the order came and they took me to police force. And I went to police force, to school again in Urbino. I was there, and about 6 months I was there in school. But this was after the war already, and after I became policeman. And all the units from Italy, they were discharged and they were going to England, and some already went to Canada, but we were there, stayed there yet, because we have to be to the end of everything, you know. So I come back to England in 1946, and they said, what do you want to do? You're going to go to Poland, come back to home? I said, no, I can't, because it's communist there, you know. So they said, what are you going to do? I said, I want to go somewhere. So after I decided I go to Canada, and here I am. I came to Canada. I decided Canada because, like, when I was in police, all the soldiers were leaving Canada. We used to take the fingerprint and everything else. And one major Canadian, he was with me, and he said, why don't you go to Canada? He said, I have a nice sister because we were single. You can marry in Canada, you know. So I was thinking maybe it's, and I had my cousins, or I would say, it's not exactly cousins. They live in Manitoba, and they used to write to me to argue, you know, with two girls, Perugia and Gina. So they said, oh, come to Canada, you know, and so I decided to come to Canada. When I come to Canada, they said, oh, you have to go to work on the farm. But I explained it, I never been farmer. I don't know how to work on the farm. And they said, oh, you're gonna learn. So I went to work on the farm. I used to work for about 8 months on the farm. And then I decided, because they pay only $45 a month, and it was not enough money because I smoked cigarettes and I need the clothes and everything else. So I left the farmer and I come to London, and I went to immigration office, and I told him, I said, look, give me some kind of different job because I cannot work on the farm anymore. So they give me job working in the Westminster Hospital, Veterans Hospital. But I went there and I looked it over, and everybody's sick, and I couldn't work because I feel sick too, you know, right away. So I quit there. I quit, and I went to one Polish family I talked about it, and they said, oh, come to General Steelworks or McLaren factory. That's a big factory working over 2,000 people. And they hire you now. If you want to come there, work, you get a good job. So I went there, and they were surprised because I told them I'm Polish. But I speak English, you know. So they were satisfied with me, you know. And they give me right away a good job. And I start to work there. Then it was Sunday, with nothing to do. I met 2 other my friends, and used to be one Polish guy here named Gorski, and he used to be interpreter when all the Polish came. They couldn't speak English, so he was interpreter on the immigration. And I met him on the Polish hall, and I said, what's new? He said, oh, it's lots new. I said, what? He said, lots of Polish girls came. I said, where are they? He said, oh, they're working on the Providence House across from St. Joseph Hospital. So, in the evening we went there, and we went there and it was only nuns. We asked the nuns that can we see those girls, and I said, one is my cousin, but she wasn't my cousin at all. I just lied. So the nun said, okay, so she bring them all. It was 5 of them. Bring downstairs, and we talked to them, this and that. Then we went for walk. And one girl said, oh, I have a friend, but she works in the Brescia. I said, can you call that friend of yours? Because I saw all these 5, but I didn't like no one. So she called, she said they're going to call her. And she called a friend, and this friend came, and I looked at, oh, she's a nice looking girl, So I started to talk to her, and this and that, and I said, can I come over to see you sometime? She said, yes. So I went to Brescia next time, and I called her, and we went for a walk and talking. And then I left, and I went to work, in fact, to work again. And I'm coming home. I used to live in one Polish family. And when I was coming home, I see my girlfriend there. She came there, and we started to talk, and I said, what are you going to do? And she said, I ran away from North. I don't want to be North. So I said, what are you going to do now? She said, they're going to stay here in this place. But after second day or so, police come and told me that I steal the girl from the monastery. And, they said, you have to get married, and otherwise you're going to go to jail. So that's why I got married, I got married right away, and I had to pay $250 for her trip to Canada and everything. And now, I am doing not bad in Canada, Here is my old picture from police. And I went to real estate, and I was the best salesman. I have no problem with nobody, no cheating, no nothing. And here is diploma from my organization, that's Stowarzyszenie Polskich Kombatantów, which I was. Here is my commander general sent me from England lately. Congratulations that I was promoted again to sergeant major. And here they send me from England because they count me as English subject. And here are our Here is my one cross. Here is another one.
She might find it, you know, a couple of
Here is silver and this one gold. And when I took Canadian citizenship, they sent me our, how do you call it? It's our family
coat of arms.
coat of arms.
Say it again.
Okay. Now, over here, like, you see those two stars? That's for wounds. You know, two stars. This is Krzyż Waleczny, Polish. This is Krzyż Monte Cassino, Polish. This is 1939 war. This is Africa, Tobruk. This is Italy, star. This is defense of England. And this is because I was a very good soldier. The King George V gave it to me. Now, this is Polish, 1939, when war broke out. We were fighting. And this is to give us new president, Valenza. It says here, Tobruk, Monte Cassino, Bologna. And this is everybody who were there. And I still have about 10 more, but I can't put it on because it's too heavy. Too many. I got it in the box. Keep it in the box. And that's about all my life. The rest you know. Because that's what I'm doing for my children. To know what I did and how come I'm here and everything else.
Daddy. Hi, Dad.